Hello, everyone, and welcome back to English Pod. My name is Marco.
I'm Erica.
And today we have a great intermediate lesson for you.
That's right. We've got some excellent real English for you all about cleaning the house.
Cleaning the house, that's a real life situation, so we're going to give you real English.
Exactly. So in today's lesson, we're going to look at language about cleaning the house. We're also going to learn a few phrases that you can use if you want to ask someone for help. And maybe if you're a little bit lazy like me, a phrase or two to avoid doing work. Okay, well, let's get started then with our vocabulary preview.
Vocabulary preview.
All right, great. We have two great words for you today. Erica, why don't you tell us the first one?
The first word is such a mess.
Such a mess.
Such a mess.
So when something is a mess...
It's dirty.
Yeah, or things are everywhere.
Disorganized.
Yeah, so, you have your clothes on the floor and your shoes on...
Okay, so that sounds a lot like my desk at work.
Your shoes on your desk. Yeah, I've seen that. I've been wanting to ask you about that.
Okay, such a mess. Really, really dirty.
Okay, now let's take a look at our second word, chores.
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 Chores is a really common word for...
Dialogue.
Things you have to do around the house.
Like, for example, laundry.
Or making the bed.
Or when you have to take out the garbage.
Those are all examples of chores.
Chores, yeah. I guess everyone can remember when they were kids, they had chores to do.
Yeah, when I was a kid, it was my chore to chop wood.
Chop wood?
Yeah.
That's a great chore. Playing with an axe.
Maybe if you're a boy, but for a girl, it was not so great.
That's why you're so strong and fit. All right, so let's listen to our dialogue for the first time. It's going to be kind of fast.
But don't worry if you miss something, because we'll explain all of the important language afterwards.
Honey, the house is such a mess. I need you to help me tidy up a bit. My boss and her husband are coming over for dinner and the house needs to be spotless.
I'm in the middle of something right now. I'll be there in a second.
This can't wait. I need your help now.
All right. I'm coming.
Okay, here's a list of chores we need to get done. I'll do the dishes and get all the groceries for tonight. You can sweep and mop the floors. Oh, and the furniture needs to be dusted.
You know what? I have to pick something up in the mall, so why don't you clean the floors and I'll go to the supermarket and get all the groceries.
Sure, that's fine. Here's the list of all the things you need to get. Don't forget anything. And can you pick up a bottle of wine on your way home?
Hey, honey, I'm back. Wow, the house looks really good.
Great. Can you set the table?
Just a sec. I'm just gonna vacuum this rug real fast.
Wait, don't turn it on!
Oh my God, Marco, what happened there?
An explosion.
We love a good explosion here at English Pod.
We're going to give you as many explosions as possible.
Okay.
Right. So let's take a look at our language takeaway.
Language takeaway.
So language takeaway is the part of our lesson where we teach you what we think are some really important words that are found in the dialogue.
Exactly, and we have 3 really important words in our dialogue
Vocabulary
today.
preview.
So let's start with the first one.
Tidy up.
Tidy up.
Tidy up.
So to tidy up means to...
Put things in their correct spot.
Right, so put the shoes on the floor.
Get those shoes off my desk.
Exactly, so tidy up, organize things a little bit.
Yeah, put things away.
Okay, let's take a look at our second word now. Spotless.
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 So when you want something to be spotless...
You want it to be really clean.
Really clean, not a spot of dirt on it.
Like your desk.
Exactly, my desk is spotless.
My desk is not spotless.
All right, great word. Now let's take a look at our last word for language takeaway. Mall.
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 M-A-L-L, mall.
Mall, yeah. It's a strange sounding word.
It is a little bit funny sounding, but it basically means a large building with many shops inside, many different stores inside.
Right. Now, in British English, you would say shopping center.
Yeah, I think that's a little bit more common, but in American English, we say mall.
Great. So now it's time in our show to look at putting it together.
Putting it together.
Okay, so in putting it together, we take a word from the dialogue and we show you how to use this word in real English. So we give you a couple of examples of how this particular word can be used.
Exactly. So the word that we have for today is groceries.
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 Erica, why don't you tell us what groceries are all about?
So groceries are all of the food items that you need to buy at the supermarket. So like your bread and milk and meat and...
Vegetables.
Exactly. Those
all
are
that
all
stuff.
groceries.
Okay, so let's listen to some examples on how we use this phrase.
Example
Other
1.
examples.
There's no milk. Can you go to the grocery store?
Example 2.
Here's the grocery list. I need all of these things so that I can cook dinner tonight. Don't forget anything.
Example 3.
I hate grocery shopping. I can never find what I'm looking for.
Okay, great examples. We heard some really interesting combinations, right?
Yeah, we heard grocery store.
Which is where you buy your groceries.
Exactly. Grocery shopping.
Buying all your groceries.
And grocery list.
Where you have all the items that you need to buy.
A list of everything you need to buy.
Exactly.
You know, grocery store. I think this is quite a common word in Canada.
Probably North America.
Yeah. Do you say grocery store in America?
Well, if it's a small one.
Really? So
Like a small store.
in Canada, I say grocery store for even like a supermarket.
Really?
Yeah.
I guess, well, I would say supermarket for a large one and grocery store for a little corner shop.
All of these little differences in American Canadian English. Okay, I think it's time for us to listen to our dialogue another time. This time it'll be a little bit slower.
Honey, the house is such a mess. I need you to help me tidy up a bit. My boss and her husband are coming over for dinner, and the house needs to be spotless.
I'm in the middle of something right now. I'll be there in a second.
This can't wait. I need your help now.
All right. I'm coming.
Okay, here's a list of chores we need to get done. I'll do the dishes and get all the groceries for tonight. You can sweep and mop the floors. Oh, and the furniture needs to be dusted.
You know what? I have to pick something up at the mall. So why don't you clean the floors and I'll go to the supermarket and get all the groceries?
Sure, that's fine. Here's the list of all the things you need to get. Don't forget anything. And can you pick up a bottle of wine on your way home?
Hey, honey, I'm back. Wow, the house looks really good.
Great. Can you set the table?
Just a sec. I'm just gonna vacuum this rug real fast.
Wait! Don't turn it on!
Okay, great stuff. Love hearing that explosion. That vacuum just is a bomb.
Yeah. In this dialogue, there was some really interesting language that you can use if you don't want to do any chores in the house.
Exactly. So it's time now for Fluency Builder.
Fluency Builder.
You know, Fluency Builder is a part of our show that we use to take a common phrase or a word that you already know and show you how to express that idea more fluently and more naturally.
Exactly. So let's take a look at our
Vocabulary
first
preview.
idea that we want to explain.
let's say you're watching TV like the woman in this dialogue, and your husband wants you to help him do the chores. And you say, no, I'm busy.
Right. Or I'm doing something.
Those are two great expressions, but we heard something a little bit different in the dialogue.
I'm in the middle of something right now. I'm in the middle of something right now.
Yeah, that phrase is great. It means she's busy. She's doing something.
Yeah, I'm in the middle of something.
Yeah.
And so, Marco, you can tell us about our next phrase.
Okay, well, now suppose that you want to say, you'll be there soon.
You might say, I'll be there soon, or
I'm coming.
Exactly.
But in our dialogue, we heard something a little bit different. Let's listen.
I'll be there in a second. I'll be there in a second.
So this is a more natural way of saying, I'll be there very soon.
Yeah, you know what? I think I use this phrase almost every day. I'll be there in a second.
Yeah. It's really common.
Yeah, it means I'll be there really fast.
Yes.
Okay, so our final item today in Fluency Builder is a great phrase that helps you say the idea, could you or would you?
Right. Or can you?
Yeah, so can you sweep the floor? Could you sweep the floor?
But in the dialogue, we heard something that's a little bit different.
Why don't you clean the floors and I'll go to the supermarket? Why don't you clean the floors and I'll go to the supermarket?
Great. So this is more natural and it's giving a suggestion.
Yeah, it's sort of a polite way of asking someone to clean the floors.
Right. It's a really good and polite way of saying it. Yeah, I would agree on that. This was Fluency Builder. Now we are ready to listen to our dialogue again at its normal speed.
And this time you'll understand a lot better.
Honey, the house is such a mess. I need you to help me tidy up a bit. My boss and her husband are coming over for dinner and the house needs to be spotless.
I'm in the middle of something right now. I'll be there in a second.
This can't wait. I need your help now.
All right. I'm coming.
Okay, here's a list of chores we need to get done. I'll do the dishes and get all the groceries for tonight. You can sweep and mop the floors. Oh, and the furniture needs to be dusted.
You know what? I have to pick something up in the mall. So why don't you clean the floors and I'll go to the supermarket and get all the groceries?
Sure, that's fine. Here's the list of all the things you need to get. Don't forget anything. And can you pick up a bottle of wine on your way home?
Hey, honey, I'm back. Wow, the house looks really good.
Great. Can you set the table?
Just a sec. I'm just gonna vacuum this rug real fast.
Wait, don't turn it on!
Has this ever happened to you? Has your vacuum cleaner exploded in your house?
Well, not a big explosion like this one.
Not so dramatically.
Not so dramatically. But I've had this happen to me before. Yeah. And dust everywhere. And it's a mess. You don't want to have.
You know, this word vacuum is really a very American word.
Yeah, vacuum. Vacuum the rug. Vacuum the carpet.
Yeah, vacuum cleaner. In the UK, what did they say?
Hoover.
Hoover.
Yeah, Hoover.
Hoover the rug.
Hoover the rug. Which is interesting because it's actually a brand.
Yeah.
So I guess it's kind of like American English. You say, pass me a Kleenex.
Oh, that's true.
That would be like a tissue.
Yeah.
So I guess they say Hoover the rug or Hoover the house. Yeah.
Wow. You know, I really love these small differences in meaning that we have between American English and British English.
Yeah, it's fun. Okay. Well, another interesting thing about this is that the man was doing the housework.
I know.
He's a house husband.
Yeah. So he's the one doing all the chores in the house.
Yeah, that's the new trend now. Now it's more popular for men to stay home and take care of the babies and clean the house.
Yeah, like when I was growing up, my dad would take out the garbage and that was it. My mom had to do everything else. But now I think it's becoming a lot more common, especially in North America, for the household chores to be divided between the man and the wife equally.
Yeah, I think it's fair.
Me too. Yeah.
Yeah.
You'd make a good husband, Marco.
That's what they say, but they haven't married me yet.
Okay.
All right. Well, we're out of time, folks. Be sure to log on to our community website and you can leave all your comments. And maybe other house husbands out there can give us their feedback on what they think about this.
Yeah, so check us out at englishpod.com. And thanks for listening today, everyone. Until next time, this is Marco and Erica saying
Bye.
goodbye.
The second paragraph of the dialogue.
Okay, so picture this here. You're getting ready for this big event at your place, and maybe your boss is coming over for dinner, and all of a sudden you realize your house is a total disaster.
Yeah.
We've all been there, right?
Yeah.
The pressure's on to get everything all sparkling clean. But what if you could learn some really useful English phrases
Right.
while you're conquering that mountain of chores?
Absolutely. I mean, that's exactly what we're diving into today.
Oh, cool.
We're going to be exploring this English language learning podcast called EnglishPod.
Okay.
And it's all about, tackling those everyday chores and the language we use around them.
Love it.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's unpack this a little bit. The podcast starts with this phrase, such a mess.
Dialogue.
Yeah.
Which I think perfectly captures that feeling of overwhelm when you just look around and think, ugh, where do I even begin?
Yeah. It's a great example of how everyday language can be so evocative.
Right.
You instantly understand the speaker's feeling of just being surrounded by clutter and disarray.
Totally. And then they introduce the word chores,
Right.
which basically just encompasses all of those tasks we do to keep our homes from turning into complete chaos.
Yeah.
Laundry dishes that dreaded vacuuming,
Yeah.
the drill.
It's so funny how chores can vary so much from culture to culture.
Oh, absolutely.
Even within families.
Yeah.
It can reveal a lot about how responsibilities are divided and the values we place on cleanliness and order.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Growing up, my least favorite chore was cleaning the bathroom.
Ugh.
It felt like an endless battle against mildew and toothpaste splatters.
Oh, yeah.
What about you? Any particularly memorable chores from your childhood?
Well, I grew up in a farmhouse, and one of my chores was collecting eggs from the chicken coop.
Oh, wow.
Not exactly your typical household task, but it taught me a lot about responsibility and the delicate balance of nature.
Wow, collecting eggs. That sounds way more adventurous than my bathroom cleaning escapades.
Yeah.
But okay, back to our podcast.
All right.
So we've established the scene. The house is such a mess.
Uh-huh.
There are chores galore.
Yep.
The goal is to tidy up before the boss arrives.
Okay.
But here's where things get interesting. The podcast highlights the difference between tidy and spotless.
That's a crucial distinction, right?
Yeah.
Tidy suggests a basic level of order, like things are put away.
Yeah.
There's a sense of organization.
Okay.
Spotless, on the other hand, implies a level of cleanliness that's almost surgical.
Ooh.
You're aiming for perfection, no dust bunnies allowed.
So you might be able to get away with tidy for a casual get-together with friends.
Right.
But if you're trying to impress your boss, spotless is the way to go.
Exactly.
First impressions and all that.
For sure. The choice of words can subtly convey the level of effort and the desired outcome.
Yeah. And it's not just about the physical act of cleaning. It's about the language we use to navigate those sometimes awkward situations surrounding chores.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
How do you politely express that you're swamped and might need a little help?
That's a good question. Well, the podcast offers some great phrases for that.
Okay.
For instance, when one of the characters says, "I'm in the middle of something right now," it's a classic way to signal that you're not immediately available to tackle those chores.
It's like a universal code for don't bother me right now.
Right.
Even if you're actually just engrossed in a really good book.
Exactly.
And then there's the follow-up phrase, I'll be there in a second.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Which is a brilliant way to buy yourself some time.
Yes.
It gives the impression of cooperation while allowing you to finish what you're doing.
Other examples.
got it.
Strategic procrastination.
Yeah,
Right?
exactly.
But eventually you can't avoid the inevitable, and the real challenge begins actually asking for help.
Right. And that's where the art of polite requests comes in. The podcast highlights this phrase that's so common,
Yeah.
yet so effective.
Oh.
Why don't you,
Okay.
for example, why don't you tackle the dishes while I vacuum the living room?
It's a subtle way of delegating tasks without sounding too bossy. It's like you're offering a suggestion rather than giving a direct order.
Yeah, and it creates a sense of collaboration.
Yeah.
Even if you're secretly hoping the other person will take, like, the less appealing chore.
Oh, totally. Speaking of chores, let's talk about those regional language variations that the podcast brought up.
Yeah.
It's amazing how even simple words for household tasks can differ depending on where you are.
It really highlights the richness and diversity of the English language.
Yes.
Like, for example, they mention American English mall versus British English shopping center.
Right.
Same concept,
Yeah.
but different words reflect the cultural nuances of each region.
And then there's the whole vacuum versus Hoover debate. I never realized how passionate people could be about cleaning appliances.
Oh my gosh, it's so funny.
Right.
It's fascinating how a brand name like Hoover can become so ingrained in the language that it becomes synonymous with the appliance itself.
It's a reminder that language is constantly evolving and adapting to reflect our experiences and cultural influences.
Absolutely. And these regional variations aren't just interesting trivia, they can actually enhance your communication skills.
Yeah.
Especially if you're learning English as a second language.
Yeah.
Being aware of these differences can help you avoid misunderstandings and connect with people from diverse backgrounds.
It's like having a secret decoder ring for language. It opens up a whole new level of understanding and appreciation for the nuances of communication.
I love that analogy.
And beyond regional variations,
Yeah.
the podcast also delves into some practical conversational expressions that can be used in everyday situations.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like what kind of expressions?
Well, for instance, they highlighted the phrase, "I'm swamped,"
Oh, yeah.
which is a great way to express that you're feeling overwhelmed with tasks.
I use that one all the time,
Right.
especially when the to-do list seems to be growing faster than I can check things off.
It's a concise and relatable way to convey your current state of busyness.
The podcast also mentioned, "I'm running around like a headless chicken," which I find to
The
be a
second paragraph of
hilariously
the
accurate
dialogue.
description of those days when you're just trying to keep up with everything.
It's a more colorful and informal way to express busyness,
Right.
but it effectively paints a picture of frantic activity.
And these expressions aren't just about complaining about being busy.
Right.
They can also be used to politely decline requests or ask for help.
Exactly. Like, for example, if someone asks you to do something you don't have time for,
Yeah.
you could say, "I'm swamped right now, but maybe I can help you later."
Or if you need assistance, you could say, "I'm running around like a headless chicken.
Yeah.
Would you mind lending a hand with this?"
Perfect. These expressions provide a framework for navigating those everyday situations where you need to communicate your availability or seek assistance.
It's all about having those go-to phrases
Yeah,
that can help you express yourself clearly and effectively.
for sure. And the more you expose yourself to these real-life conversational examples, the more confident you'll become in using them in your own interactions.
So as we delve deeper into this English Pod episode,
Yeah.
you're discovering that it's not just about learning vocabulary. It's about understanding the subtle ways in which language is used to navigate everyday situations,
Absolutely.
to express our feelings and to connect with others.
It's a reminder that language is a powerful tool.
Yeah.
And the more we understand its nuances,
Right.
the more effectively we can use it to achieve our goals.
And sometimes those
Vocabulary
goals
preview.
involve getting out of doing the dishes.
Perhaps. But
Yeah.
even in those situations, knowing how to politely decline or negotiate can make all the difference.
So listeners, as we wrap up part 2 of our deep dive into household chores and the language surrounding them, I'm curious, what are some of your go-to phrases for expressing busyness or asking for help?
We'd love to hear your thoughts on how you navigate those everyday language challenges.
Wow, it's amazing how much we've uncovered just from exploring this one English Pod episode about chores.
I know, right? It's a testament to how, language learning can happen anywhere. Yeah.
Even in the midst of tackling household tasks.
Absolutely. We've gone from basic vocabulary mess and chores to understanding the subtle difference between tidy and spotless.
Right. And we've explored phrases for expressing busyness
Yeah.
and learned how to politely request help.
Or even strategically avoid it.
Exactly.
We even delved into those regional language variations,
Yeah.
discovering how the same concept can be expressed in different ways depending on where you are.
It's been a journey of uncovering hidden layers of meaning in everyday language.
Totally. And it's all thanks to that English Pod episode,
Yeah.
which really sparked our curiosity.
It's a great example of how language learning can be both practical and engaging.
So listeners, as we wrap up our deep dive, I'm left with this thought. What if we viewed chores not just as these mundane tasks,
Yeah.
but as opportunities to practice our language skills?
Ooh, that's an interesting perspective.
Right.
Instead of dreading those household duties, we could approach them with a sense of linguistic adventure. Imagine yourself, like, narrating your cleaning process in English,
Yeah.
using all those new words and phrases we've learned.
You could even turn it into a game,
Oh, yeah.
challenging yourself to use a certain number of regional variations or conversational expressions.
It's a fun and effective way to make language learning a part of your daily routine.
And who knows, maybe you'll even start to enjoy those chores a little bit more.
Okay, maybe that's a stretch,
Maybe just a little bit.
but at least you'll be expanding your vocabulary and improving your communication skills along the way.
Exactly. So the next time you're facing that mountain of laundry or that sink full of dishes, remember, it's not just about cleaning. It's a chance to immerse yourself in the fascinating world of language.
And if you're looking for more real-life English learning, be sure to check out EnglishPod.
Yeah.
We've got a treasure trove of episodes covering all sorts of everyday topics.
Absolutely. Happy cleaning, or maybe not cleaning. And until next time, keep diving deep into the wonders of language